Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. We continue our 1979 foray into the All Star Wrestling Review Series. This is April 21st, 1979. Huge time. I'm actually partway through 80. I had some time to catch up on stuff this weekend. Did not have time to record, though. Anyway, I've got about another, I don't know, almost 45, 50 of these that are done, just need to be recorded. Finding the time in between work is there, and certainly going to be looking to do that. If you're new here, nearly 1,700 of these, or over 1,700 now, of these audios, old school, new school, all points in between. Going to have eventually, my goal is about 50,000 of these, although we're a long way away. So it's going to take us a few years. Please like, subscribe, comment below, all that good stuff. Make things happen that are good for the wrestling business. And just the idea is, the eventual goal is to have as many of these as we can so that you can go through in about 10-15 minutes, spot check for talent you like, things you like, angles worth seeing, and not have to waste so much time on negative or derisive or unnecessary wrestling. Anyway, this is April 21st, 1979. Coming up on the midpoint of the year. Vince McMahon, Bruno Sammartino are definitely doing interviews here. Nikita Volkov with Fred Blassie defeating Nick Busick 429 after basically doing the Gorilla Press backbreaker combination, which for the time or for any time is still an impressive move to me. Actually, one of the things I remember is the old Coliseum video entrance area where, in fact, that's a thing. Big Nick Busick comes back to the WWF, three letters here in 1990, 1991, and does much here. But he is an enhancement talent here. Volkov running his first time through, I think he does Mid-South soon after this. Speaking of which, our Mid-South series is up and pretty complete. A couple hundred episodes there. Anyway, lots of punch kick by Volkov. Volkov with Blassie is a good pairing. Blassie known for doing the foreign heel bit and continues to do it here. And as mentioned, hits the press slam backbreaker into a victory position. Then we move to another match, this time of the tag team variety. We move to Steve Travis and North American champion Ted DiBiase, Johnny Roz, and Mark Pole. 6:48 when DiBiase pins Pole, flying elbow smash and elbow drop post-bout. Bruno interviews Travis and DiBiase at ringside. Basically, the idea is, do you like being tag team or would you prefer to be singles? Obviously, there is a little bit of both there. And what I mean by a little bit of both is, at the end of the day, you're kind of looking at it from a perspective of, hey, we can probably do both. We're good with both to a degree. Although DiBiase does admit liking having a partner. Also, Travis says you got to wrestle singles, but he likes teaming with the North American champion. Of course, that North American championship is still a pretty big deal. DiBiase gets taken into the heels corner pretty aggressively. Estrada and the like, pretty much. I mean, strikes, punches, kicks. DiBiase does make a comeback, and obviously, eventually, this later in the year, which we will cover, becomes the Intercontinental Championship. The North American Championship transfers away, but DiBiase coming in at this time kind of cements him going forward. Steve Travis does some very basic wrestling, head scissors takeover, headlocks, and kind of amateur-style roll-throughs, body slams, and the like. Steve Travis is a guy who, really, I don't know that he goes terribly far in the business long run. DiBiase fires up and eventually gets an advantage. Gets cast to the outside, or Travis eventually gets thrown to the outside by the heels, and a cross-body, among other things, and DiBiase gets the victory soon thereafter. DiBiase also, is pretty aggressive. DiBiase is the leader of the team, and as he should be as a champion, back elbows and the like. The interview, as mentioned, a pretty big deal. Valentine promising in a beautiful blue and silver robe that he would destroy Chief Jay Strongbow if he returns. The concept that he may not return is brought forward. Grand Wizard makes fun of him and says he's not even a cigar store Indian. Obviously, a comment that wouldn't work today, but 40 years ago is working here. Over 40 years ago, and it's just interesting to see what's acceptable versus not. Bulldog Bob Brower is up next in an enhancement match, and he's here for a couple more months, but he doesn't really ever hit a top level talent like he was originally pushed to have. Bruno Sammartino is a major part of his act, and but never really hits, I guess, what I would consider a top level sort of thing there. He is in an enhancement match with SD Jones. Elbow smash again, a victory. And I misspoke earlier. The Johnny Rods is was the other half of that tag match. I think I said Jose Estrada, but he's below in a match with Tito Santana coming up here. Anyway, Bulldog Bob Brower, brawl, punch kick. SD Jones, as mentioned before, Jones is probably one of the better talents at the time for a number of reasons, and manages to take things out. Obviously, Brower, not exactly a guy that you got to worry about, write home about, or going to expect to have a nerd Dave Meltzer 5-star classic, but can get the job done as far as getting heat from the crowd. Does walk into the buckle a bit awkwardly and do other awkward related things. Not exactly the best of situations there. And a couple of body slams along the way. Doesn't get what he wants out of it. Tosses his man over the top rope to the floor and gets things going there. Then we move to, as mentioned, Tito Santana, who I believe is debuting. If he's not debuting here, is debuting within a week or so of his debut. Promoted as being from Mexico and found in Texas. Santana, super young here, early 20s, and it shows, but he has been trained extremely well. Rivera Estrada, is managing to, bring a brawl out of him. I'm not sure that the match necessarily needed 7 minutes, and the flying forearm isn't even a full-on finish here, which obviously it becomes for him not too far in the distant future. Anyway, his opponent comes back on him a little bit, punch kick, super basic match, headlocks, and the like, head scissors. But Santana has one thing that a lot of guys today lack, and that is consistent fire all the way back here in 1979. Roll through with a bridge and an eventual win for the new Latin American star. Then we go to the tag team champions, still the Valiant brothers. Johnny and Jerry Valiant are your champions. Captain Lou Albano on the outside with them. They are facing off against, I guess you'd say, kind of a enhancement talent team. Dominic Januzzi and Steve King and Frank Williams actually are a 6-man tag team here against Jimmy, Jerry, and Johnny Valiant. For some reason, I thought this was a title defense. I think it's because they were on as a duo more often than not. And again, DiNucci tries to hit a couple of things there. Lots of brawling with one of the Valiants through. And I mean, they only get 3 or 4 minutes. Steve King, obviously the weak point of the team, brought in to be exactly that. Hard shots along the way, getting what is needed there. And eventually DiNucci comes in with an abdominal stretch, does not get what he wants to out of that. But the Valiant Brother Trio is victorious here. We'll be back with more right after this.